Oh man, that's not how I wanted it to turn out.
Welcome to the studio, it's Froyle here. I'm absolutely obsessed with jelly print image transfers. I love this technique, but I am getting a lot of questions and there are some people that are still having a little bit of trouble. So today I'm going to give you the two main reasons why your image transfers may not be working so well.
Right, now there are two main aspects to the jelly printing image transfers. The first one is going to be your print copy and the second is your paint. There's only two aspects to this technique, and if you pay attention to these two aspects, then you'll be able to create fabulous and beautiful image transfers on your gel plate without all the stress. Now, this is a color laser print. I can only tell you what has worked for me, and then you might have a different experience. This is in real time. You'll see how long it takes me to put the transfer on and to pull the print. I use color laser prints because I have personally found that the black and white prints where I get them from in the office shop don't work. I have tried them many times and at great expense, and the black and white copies don't work for me. Now, the second aspect of your print is the paint. Depending on how much paint you put on the plate, sometimes I put too much paint on the plate and the image is kind of blurry. But if you don't put enough paint on the plate, it doesn't print. So yes, it can be a little tricky, but you can master this art. It just takes a little bit of practice and perseverance, and you have to have the right supplies. So this is exactly how long it's taken me to put the image transfer on the plate and to pull it straight off the plate on a piece of tissue. It's not a brilliant print, but as we go along, you'll see basically that's how it goes. Now I've got a few of the same image so I can show you exactly what works and what doesn't. This is my little treasure. It's her photo, so I can use it. It has quite a strong contrast, as you can see, of light and dark areas. Now my theory is why I have found that the color prints work better is because there's a buildup of toner on the print. This is from Warehouse Stationery. It's an office shop down the road where I get my prints done, and I have found these prints to work. Now where there's a buildup of color in the dark sections, there'll be more toner, and the toner is what resists the paint and makes it stick to the plate, and the light areas has no toner, absorbs your paint, and it stays on the paper. And that's what causes the transfer process. So if you're not using a laser print and you don't have enough buildup of the toner, you're not going to get an image transfer. I prefer to use the laser prints with image transfers rather than magazine pages because it's more controllable. Magazine pages are very hit and miss. And if you're having trouble transferring from magazines, yeah, hello, so do I. It's a very hit and miss process. It depends on the magazine. It depends on the image. I don't like hit and miss. I like hit, I don't like miss. So I like to use the laser prints for the image transfers where I've got more control and where I know it's going to work better. So let's have another go, see if we can pull a clearer print this time. I've got less paint. That is always a good start. It's a color laser copy print from the same place. Yes, I know they're expensive if you go to the office shop to do them, but you know, it's art, man. You either want to do it or you don't. You don't have to do it, but if you do want to do it, I think it costs me $1.20 a sheet to get a color laser print from Office Warehouse Stationery. And yes, I know, but I'm obsessed with the process. So what can I say? I'm going to pay it. I'm going to get them done. Now, this is real time. Again, this is how long I've spent yapping and rubbing the transfer onto the plate of my little treasure. And that's transferred beautiful. It's a little clearer this time because, as I said, I used a little less paint. I like putting her onto tissue because then I can use it to transfer in multiple ways. Now, you don't have to just put it on tissue. You can put your transfer on any paper, of course. You can also wait for it to dry, put another background color on it, which we're going to do a bit later. I just want to start with the absolute basics. Now, again, real time, that's how long I spent rubbing it. I don't like to spend too long with the tissue because it grabs onto my little prickly gel plate here and it might tear. So here's another transfer straight onto the plate and straight onto tissue. That's a little clearer this time because I put on a little less paint. The color laser prints from the office shop for me works most of the time. Nothing works 100%, but most of the time, if I get the aspects right, it's going to work. And I absolutely love using this technique because I can turn these transfers into portrait paintings, into collage, into so many different things. I've used lots of different portraits, not just this one. And you can also use, of course, landscapes or buildings or anything you can possibly think of to pull your image transfers. I particularly like to use images from Unsplash if they're not my images because then they're royalty free. Now, if you have a printer at home, if it's a laser printer at home and you're trying it and it's not working, you might find that you need to run it through the printer a few times to get that buildup of toner on your image. So I printed this out from my inkjet printer. As you can see, the difference in the paper, this is glossy. It's got a lot of ink and pigment and toner on the print. And this one's from my inkjet. Now, it's a new inkjet, it's a good printer, but it's not a laser printer. However, I get questions all the time of, can I use my inkjet printer? And let me tell you in the short version, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But every week I get asked the question. Inkjet prints will not work for this particular technique. They'll work for a different technique of if transferring images, and we might do that another week, but for the Gelli printing image transfer, your inkjet printer will not work. Now, small amount of paint, we're gonna go through the process and I'm going to show you what happens. Inkjet print. Straight from the printer. I printed it out this morning. I'm giving it the same amount of attention, same amount of paint, same image, same color, same everything. Let's have a little experiment and see if my inkjet printer is going to work. Same amount of time rubbing it on the plate. And let's see what it does. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da! It does nothing. It does nothing because your inkjet printer print copy will absorb all of that paint straight off the gel plate, sucks it all up into the paper. It leaves nothing behind because it doesn't have the toner in the color to resist the paint and make it stick to the plate. That's why the inkjet printer copy will not work. Yay, great demo, love it. So number one reason your image transfers are not working is your print copy. It has to be a laser print, and I've personally found that color laser prints work better. I do believe in my theory that it's the toner in the color of the print that makes it work better. I didn't get any success from black and white prints from the same office shop. If you're using your laser printer at home, try running the print through twice to build up the toner. That might work, but I don't know because I don't have one. But I have heard from others that I've suggested it to that that will work for them. Also, it depends on where you're getting your print copy done. Now, I got these done from Office Warehouse Stationery because I know they work. I was lazy and didn't want to go to town, and I sent online for prints to be printed, laser copy printers from an online print shop. They came back. I did the image transfers. None of them worked. Oh man, I was so not impressed. I used the same techniques, none of them worked. So there are different qualities of laser prints, even in the commercial grade. If one shop is not working for you, then definitely try another shop, because they might work from somewhere else. And once you find where they're working, oh man, it's happy days. You can go crazy with your image transfers like I like to do. There are so many ways to use your beautiful image transfers. You can put them in collage. You can create portrait paintings. Have a look at this glorious portrait painting that I did of this particular image of my daughter. And if you want to learn how to take your image transfer to that place of creating the portrait painting, you'll find that class on Skillshare, which leads me to the sponsor of today's video.
This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes and members in hundreds of countries. Anything that you need to increase your skills, maybe in business, maybe personal development, perhaps you want to learn how to make incredible artworks, you can find classes on Skillshare. I'm both a teacher and a student on Skillshare. Having just taken the step, leaving my old job behind and becoming a full-time artist, I depend even more on upscaling my knowledge with online learning. Skillshare is helping me to learn what I need to know to increase my art business. And there's really a lot to learn, especially in areas of marketing and tech. I've taken classes on how to build your YouTube channel, how to develop your social media marketing, how to take better photos with your iPhone. Skillshare is easy to use, and what I love about this platform is the one inclusive membership price. I have 11 classes on Skillshare, and you can watch one of them, 5 of them, all of them for the same price of one subscription fee. It's absolute value for money. That's what I love about it. Now, the first 1,000 people to click on the link will receive the first month free. And baby, you can't get more affordable than free. So click on the link in the description for the first month free and come and join me on Skillshare. There's so much to experience.
So have a look at that Skillshare class if you want to create a beautiful portrait painting like this one. Ta-da, ta-da! It's all finished, start to finish, from the image transfer right through to create the beautiful portrait painting. Yes, I love it. This particular one is hanging in my studio. I do like this one because she's a little moody. And my treasure is a little moody, so it suits her. But this particular image transfer looks more moody because, for number 2 reason that your image transfers might not be working, is the amount of paint that you're using. Now with this image transfer, I'm using exactly the same print copy from the same place, same color of paint on the plate, but I used a little bit too much paint. And as you can see, when I pull the print, she looks like an 80s rock star. She looks like she's out of the band Kiss. It's just too much paint. It completely blurred the image, and I was pretty unhappy with that image transfer. And yes, I had to try again. Now, if you don't put enough paint on the plate, then your image transfer will turn out like this one. This one is just not strong enough. It doesn't have enough impact to the print. There's not enough paint to really create the defined details. And yes, I was not happy with that one either. But I persist. I'm telling you, persistence is everything. So this one here is absolutely perfect. It's the right amount of paint, the print copies from Warehouse Stationery, the color I love, and it turned out just wonderful. And this is the image transfer that I used for this particular portrait painting, and it worked out really well. I absolutely loved it. It's a fabulous technique, and it's quite simple really. You just have to master these 2 aspects. You have to get the right print copy, and you have to have the right amount of paint. So of course you don't have to just pull a single print onto tissue. You can create image transfers with beautiful backgrounds and do a 2-color mono print or a multiple layered print. It's really quite endless. You can master this It just requires a little bit of research to find what prints are going to work for you, and then a little bit of practice to work out how much is the right amount of paint and how long to wait. Now I've got a beautiful turquoise, phthalo turquoise on there. I'm going to put this gorgeous image on here because this week is week 5 in our 100 Days of Collage series, and our theme is trees and leaves. So I'm thinking, let's create a collage somewhere deep in the forest with this beautiful image and maybe some trees. Right, so that's how long I've rubbed it. It's really not very long. There she is in the beautiful phthalo turquoise. Yes, I'm loving that. That's worked really well. That was obviously a color laser copy print, and it was not too much paint. So we're winning. Oh, what about if we put on some, I'm just going to stamp some leaf shapes around her face. That's a bit of fun into where that thicker paint is, just to add another texture to the page. Little bit of fun, and then we'll let that dry, and then we'll pull that print with another color. Yay. So I left that for a few minutes, and then I'm pretty sure now it should be dry enough to pull the print, and we'll see how she comes up. I'm going to use some glassine on this one because I'm thinking let's put her in the forest with maybe some trees behind her. And we can do that if we get a few layers happening. Glassine can sometimes get a little crinkly, but it pulls off the plate really well, and I like it if I want a different kind of texture. Let's see how she printed. Yay, she looks fabulous. Look at her. Yes, my little Eskimo with some leaf prints there with the foam stamp. That looks really cool. I'm loving it. The color's glorious. So that was a phthalo turquoise with a pastel ultramarine. That looks nice. I'm loving the texture. Righto, let's put a collage together with our beautiful image transfer. Right, so I've pulled out my fabulous art journal to do my collages in. This is the print that we just did with the image transfer and the glorious aquamarine. Now, originally I had an idea that I wanted to put her on top of some trees in the forest like this and have them coming through. But, I mean, that would be cool. It would work. And it's a great jelly print of this stencil. And I like it, but I don't know, man. There's something really nice about the image transfer. It worked really well. It's so clean, and the background color is really nice. I might just leave her like that and just stick her on the page because it's just got a nice look about it, and it worked well. And we might just not put trees behind her. I've got some other image transfers that I've done that I'm thinking might suit the feel of her, because it's all got to work for her because she's my favorite. So I've got this one I'm going to use on this side. That is also an image transfer printed onto, I think I used Payne's Grey for that. And I had this one. Now this image transfer did not work so well. I mean, look at it. It was buildings and architectural designs. The image was great, but the transfer was lousy. That's another thing. Sometimes your images don't turn out as well as you hope they're going to because of one reason or another. They're not quite contrasting enough. There's not enough light and dark areas. That didn't work how I wanted, but the color's working all right for me. So don't throw anything away. Make sure you keep your image transfers, even if they don't work out great, because I'm going to use that one for the bottom of this piece. I think the color works well. There's an interesting pattern, and I'm going to take it sideways, and you're not even going to know that that was a failed image transfer. Just don't tell anybody, and we're all good. So I'm going to use that one for this side, and that'll be fun. And I'll put her there. Now, What am I going to do down there? Not sure. How about we just stick those on first and then we'll think about what we're going to put down there. Okay, let's do that then. Now I like to use matte medium when I do my collage. Sometimes the glassine will go a little crinkly with the matte medium because it is a very moist medium that I'm using. It's matte gel medium, but I do like to push it down with the brush and get all of the air bubbles out. That works really well. I'm not too stressed out if it gets a little crinkly. Sometimes you can push them out as it dries, but you know, it's collage. Texture is texture. I don't mind too much. But if it stresses you out, then don't use the matte medium with your glassine. You'd be better off using maybe a glue stick or something that's going to be a more drier medium. But she's going to look fine and I'm pretty happy with her. So these 2 pages are now down and I'm thinking they're looking really good. I ripped off from the bottom here and added it to the side. It's just a really nice color. So don't give up on your image transfers. Even if they don't work, you can use them for your collage because they make great prints, great texture, or great colors, or something. You'll be able to use them for something. I really hope that this lesson has helped you to create better image transfers because it's so fun. It's such an experimental technique and way to approach the gel plate, but oh man, I just love it so much. Now that looks really good. I'm really happy with those beautiful images. Sometimes I'm just creating image transfers for fun to see how prints actually work out because that's how you learn. They don't always work perfect, but you'll learn then what does work and what doesn't. I think this one works pretty well considering it was quite fine detail. I like the shape of the trees and the little person there. That worked okay. Now, what are we going to put down there? I do have this fabulous jelly print, which I was thinking of using. Maybe I should have put it under. Oh man, too late. Too late, I stuck it down. I like the colors of this. I like the texture of it. So I'm thinking I might just put it right here. Okay, that's gonna be perfect. Right on the edge there. Got a bit of a crooked line, which I like. And it's a really interesting print. Lots of stencils, lots of layers. Oh man, you gotta love the jelly printing. Right, so that just needs to dry so I can trim it off on those 2 sides like that. That looked pretty good. And maybe we need something to kind of connect those 2 pieces. That could be good. What about some of the Agura lace? That might work because it goes quite transparent and I still want to see this fabulous paper. So I'll go and have a rummage in my scrap bag for some of that glorious Agura lace because I think the fibrous pattern will work really well with the particular print. Okay, so I've got this piece of the Agura lace. Do I want it straight or do I want... Oh yeah, I don't mind it like that, but maybe not too much. Maybe not so much. All right, not so much. Let's just use half of it. Oops. Oopsies. Let's just use that section. So if I put it there on that edge, I like that idea. Oh yeah, and that the fibers can come up to her face like that. We'll cut them off there. Yeah, that's gonna work. What I like about this particular paper is that it's very fibrous and it goes quite transparent once it dries. And you just see the gorgeous texture of all of those fibers. That's going to work well with the texture that's in the print. And that should dry up beautiful. I'm pretty happy with this. Righto. So what do you think about our glorious image transfers today in our fabulous trees theme? I'm loving it. These trees are glorious. And that print that didn't work is now being used for something. She turned out really well. And I'm loving the texture on these papers. So what do you think about today's beautiful collages? I'm loving the textures, I'm loving the colors. The tree image transfer worked Gelli print is a really nice color at the bottom. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with today's collages. What do you think?
Thanks for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. So if you want to know where I get my art supplies, the stencils, the digital papers, you'll find all of the information in the description under the video. There's links and discount codes. You gotta love that. Now don't forget, I have a playlist for you where you can find all the episodes of this fabulous 100 Days of Collage, and I hope to see you again next time in the studio.